Hi everyone. So as you can see, I kind of made myself a little set. Today is Sunday and I wanted to talk about everything I've been doing, kind of relax and chat about all the books and all the movies and some songs and some cool stuff that I got. I had some fun activities that I wanted to do while also chatting, so relax and be comfortable and talk about some stuff. How are you doing? I hope you're well and I hope you are enjoying watching this video. And what have you been reading? What was your last read? What are you reading right now? And what will be your next read? Let me talk about mine. I just finished my video, which will probably come out before this one comes out, and that will be about trying to read 7 books in 7 days. And I am kind of exhausted by reading right now, so it was a lot. So I decided, I read a lot of books in a day. I read 1 book in a day or 2 books in a day. So I wanted to kind of relax and read a normal book. So let's talk about the last book that I read. Before that, let me put on my candle. It's lemon flavored or lemon scented, and I like citrusy flavored perfume and candles. I think that kind of fragrance is my favorite, a little lemony, citrusy and fruity flavor. Okay, so the candle has been lit and I think you can see it. I hope I don't burn anything. These are the only 2 stuffed toys I own. This is Blahaj and I love him and I sleep with him every day. And this is actually not mine. I gave to my mother for birthday and I do really like it. It's really soft. So the last book I read and finished 2 days ago, and that is Suzanne Copper's Oversea Under Stone. So this book is pretty obscure to me. I don't think I've heard a lot about it. It's a classic. It's written like a classic fantasy. It feels like Narnia, or feels like reading Percy Jackson or Harry Potter. It has that adventurous spirit. I liked it. It was a solid 3 stars for me. The problem I had with it was I read this in a 1 day, and I wish I hadn't, because that kind of took my enjoyment away from me. What happened was I was enjoying the first half, and then the second half, in a rush to finish that previous video, kind of took away my enjoyment and wanting to marathon it. But I will be sure to continue with the next book in this series, which is The Dark is Rising, which is the main name of the whole series actually. And I'm hoping that I enjoy it more as the series goes on. Some parts kind of felt boring in the end, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, Oversea Under Stone. So that was the last book I read. I am currently not reading any other book right now, but I do plan on starting a book soon, and I'm very excited to start it. And that book is from one of my favorite authors, and I'm talking about Happy Place by Emily Henry. These covers are so much fun to look at. Just holding this book, the quality and the pretty colors, it just already makes me happy. So my first book by Emily Henry was Book Lovers, and I absolutely loved that book. And this will be my second book in my journey to read at least all the romances that Emily Henry has written. I'm really excited to start it. This will also be in a romance themed vlog, which I'm trying to do. So this will probably be the book will be more mentioned here while I talk more about it. So I hope you look forward to that. And yeah, this will be the next book. So that was what I last read and what I'm planning to read next. Tell me what you're reading right now and give me some recommendation. And talking about Emily Henry, one of my favorite books I read this year by Emily Henry, The Book Lovers. So one of my favorite thing about that book is that this book has a lot of relatable quotes, and I love annotating or like underlining quotes which are essentially hard, heavy hitting, and like which I want to remember and like which stay with me for a long time. So what I always try to do with quotes like this from books and from songs and from movies is I try to get a diary and quote it. So I already had a notebook where I used to write all my thoughts and about all the quotes which I found, mostly from songs, some from books, some from shows. Like here are some quotes. These are some from some Clairo songs, Billie Eilish, Mitski, and everything else in between. But this book has been full, and so what I decided today that I will do this activity where I find like 2 books and some songs, and I write it in a quote, and while writing I will talk about what that quote means and some other stuff which I've been doing. So let's get started with that activity. And to do that, I went shopping and I bought this really good looking like diary case book, hardback book, where I will do that activity. Let's get started with it. So the first book that I'm gonna feature and like write some quotes from it is, of course, as I talked about, will be Book Lovers. So Book Lovers will be the first book, and there are some quotes in here which I really like, and I will write it down in this book and try to maintain it. So I hope it will be a fun activity. So let's get started. So first, what thing I'm gonna do about this is write like a title page in here. So it's the first one is kind of free. So let's like I'm gonna like doodle it or like kind of draw like some cute stuff in it and like make it pretty. And while doing that, let's talk about so let me get out my essentials, pencils and stuff. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call this a code book. That essentially what it will be, a code book. Let me like quickly draw it. I will show you as soon as I can. I think I got an idea. I think I'll do it like let me show you. Okay, I think I'm gonna write it like it's written in the Assassin's Apprentice, because I do really like the font of it. I will try to match it as much as I can, but I think this will look really cool, and I will try to also add some like sparkle stuff in it. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so this is the rough I drew. I will outline it and like to color it. So I wanted to talk about the movies I've been watching recently. So I've been watching a few. Last night I watched a kind of old movie with Cillian Murphy and Chris Evans in it. I think it's called Sunshine. It's a sci-fi movie by I think the director Danny Boyle, who I think directed Slumdog Millionaire and Trainspotting, which both of those I haven't seen. So this was my first movie by that director, and that movie is actually kind of weird. So I really enjoyed the premise. It was simply about trying to save the sun which is dying, and trying to at least like put a nuclear bomb in it, like Oppenheimer style, into the sun to revive it. And it's a pretty good premise, and everything was going well in the movie. And then it kind of turned from like a science fiction survival into like a horror survival, which is very weird. Like I don't think that should work. It's a pretty bad twist that they added in the movie, and I didn't really like it. Everything else, the direction, Cillian Murphy, Chris Evans was actually the MVP. Like you hate that guy when that movie starts, but at the end, like he's such a good character at the end. Like I really enjoyed him and everybody else. It was a fun time. Like I didn't have high expectation when I started watching that movie, but it was good. It was the only movie I watched in this month. Actually, I've been meaning to watch the new like Deadpool and Wolverine that came out, which I haven't gotten any time to. Probably won't watch it. I will probably wait for it to come into Disney Plus. and then watch it. But I did try to watch the previous two movie. I did recently rewatched it and actually kind of liked it. I kind of watched it in like two consequently in like one night, where I was really bored and didn't know what to do. Deadpool and Deadpool 2 was a good time, and I'm really excited to watch this the third one. So that was all the movie I've been consuming. As I am done with like some challenges, I will try to complete some series, probably Stormlight or A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Oh, speaking of Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I watched a show that came out, and it was surprisingly good. Like Good Girl's Guide to Murder, it translated very well into like a show, but I do think that the book was a little better. So A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, it's about like who done it, who killed one, or like trying to prove innocence of one boy, right? So in the book tries to make like a point of like making every single suspect and everything like that's happening it's very tight, but you like they didn't really do that in the series, and they also tried to like change or like add thing about like Pip's father, which wasn't really mentioned, at least not in the audiobook. I think it was mentioned in the book, I don't know, but you know, the whole thing with Pip's father, the side quest which like didn't really like happened, at least not to in the audiobook, I think, which was weird, and it made it kind of jarring, because he began suspecting him and he kind of like helped her. But overall, I think I enjoyed it. I hope they make more, and before that I hope I get to like finish that series. I watched that within like one day and like really enjoyed it. Other stuff that I've been reading or watching is I've been watching Kaiju number 8, or like Monster number 8 in English, which is a pretty fun anime. The problem with it is that I read the manga, and after reading manga I didn't really wanted to watch the show, but I only read like a volume of manga. So after like continuing with the show, and I'm like only halfway through that show, but it's fun. Like if you like Attack on Titan, and if you like Pacific Rim or Godzilla and like big monsters, I think this is like purely enjoyable. Like this is essentially every little thing. The main basic plot is just, if you have seen Attack on Titan, you have probably seen this, like being like an imposter in this like regiment in like school where they train, and anybody can die at any moment. It's all that I have already seen, but the charm of Kaiju number 8 is in its animation, and it's also like kind of funny. Like it's really funny sometimes, so I'm enjoying that. Slowly but surely I will finish that soon. Those are the like two series that I'm into right now. A few days ago, one of my favorite shows ended and I haven't seen it, and I'm talking about Umbrella Academy. So the final season came out like 2 days ago, season 4, and that show is my like darling. I have been like watching that show ever since it came out. I grew up with it, and the show means very much to me because of Elliot Page and everything with like his transitioning and like everything that, and that show kind of played with the like actor transitioning, and kind of made it into a story, and I think that's really awesome. And you know, and that was around the same time where I was like suspecting and like thinking about my gender and stuff. So I think that was a really good like indication of like and like information and understanding that I got from Umbrella Academy, and I love that show. And also it's like an amazing show, like all the like family drama with like saving the world, barely scraping by from dying, and the last season was like wild with like, it was crazy. And yeah, I think it's the end, and I kind of don't want it to end right now, but it has ended, and I will give it a, like, I'm definitely gonna watch it later in the week or month. I'm in no hurry. So those are the series I've been watching. Tell me, what are you watching right now? And yeah, I'm just done with the book. I'm finished with like making the first page of code book. I think it looks okay. Like, I definitely not in like a creative mood right now. I just wanted to start doing that and like collecting codes. Like, I probably could have made it better. Haven't been drawing and like doing sketches for like 2 or 3 months now, so kind of rough on the hands, but it looks good. And let's start with doing the quotes. So I have selected 2 books for this video for quoting, and first one is Book Lovers. So let me write down some that I like. Let me find some that I like, and then I'm gonna write it down. It's good that I have tagged them, annotated them. So okay, okay, I love this one. So let me write it, then I will show you what that quote is. Hi, so I'm done with the first 2 quotes from the book Book Lovers, and these are the 2, and I don't think you can see it pretty well, so I will add a picture in here. So the 2 quote goes, if you like this book and if you have watched my previous videos, I have said this quotes like 2 or 3 times. So first one is Nora, the main character, is kind of breaking down, and Charlie, the character, said, the love interest said, Nora, he said, barely smiling, you are in books. Of course you don't have a life. None of us do. There's always something too good to read. So, as a newly formed book lover myself, I think this kind of gives me a weird existential comfort that being into books equals not having a really like sociable life, and I relate to that. I don't, and that's why I tried this YouTube channel to make friends and talk about the books I love, right? And the second one quotes is, for decades I've known I will never again have everything, so all I've wanted is to believe that someday again I'll have enough. The ache won't always be so bad. People like me aren't broken beyond repair. No ice ever freezes too thick to thaw, and no thorns ever grow too dense to be cut away. These 2, pure cinema. Such a good line. I think it's a good start to maintaining this kind of quote diary. So this was the first book, but I also got another book which I also recently read, and that book is The Details by Ia Ganbergi or Ganberg. I still don't know how to pronounce that name, but I read it on my Kindle, and it's such a good book. It's also about relationship and like struggling with relationship, right? So I've got some few quotes in here which were great, and let's write few of them from that book. So a good thing about Kindle is that when you quote a book, and even if return that book to like online library, or even if you delete that book, the quote stays there, and that's a really good feature of it. So I do like it's very easy to like annotate in that things in the Kindle. Honestly, from this book I could write so many quotes, but I think I'm gonna do like few from every book, like of course like the one that hits me the most. So I put down 4 quotes from The Details by Ia Ganberg, and I will also put that in the screen. So to start off with a good quote and then devolve into like mental health and relationship problems. The first quote that I highlighted in this is, some books stay in your bones long after their titles and details have slipped from the memory. I think that's true for any story, and I think it's a good start to a good book. And then we talk about emotions. So the main character goes, I could easily spend an evening mulling over a single exchange and was never able to turn off emotions on and off. And then the quote extends to, I couldn't choose to hold on to or to let go of my feelings. Instead, it would be the feelings that finally gave up and released me. So I think as someone who is way too much emotional, brings that feeling, that like thought into existence, and I love this book for that. And the final quote that I wrote down, this was like more like a paragraph, but it was, an anxiety that doesn't wax and wane but endures in the form of a tension inside everything. There is no laughter but anxious laughter, anxious joy, anxious walking, an anxious way of talking. As also struggling with like anxiety, I think this is a good quote to kind of existentialize, is that a word, to like put into a form of like written words. I think that's a genius kind of writing, and to be able to like express like such hard thoughts in such a good like writing is a talent. And I'm glad I read these both books, and I think it's a good recommendation. Go read the details right now, it's so good. These are the 2 quotes, but I'm not done. I also have a song which I wanted to write a quote about, and that song is from a new artist, well, not new artist, but a very well-known artist which I have recently discovered, because I've been listening to a lot of new artists, a lot of new songs. I discovered Chappell Roan this year, heard some new album from Ryan Beatty and Boy Genius. So from Boy Genius, I'm talking about Phoebe Bridgers, and one of my favorite songs with Phoebe Bridgers is Garden Song. And in Garden Song, there's a wonderful lyric. I cannot get it out of my mind because it's such a meta lyric. That is, think if I remember it well. So it goes, the doctor put a hand over my liver. She said my resentment's getting smaller. So this is a small quote, but it quote has such a big meaning to it, because I looked it up, and the meaning is that the liver is attached to like mental and emotional health, and if you have a bad liver, you have bad resentment and you have bad emotional and health, and you resent someone, right? And what you do when you resent someone, like most people drink alcohol when they resent someone, and alcohol has been known to cause liver damage. So if you stop drinking alcohol, that means you don't have any resentment, and that means you have a healthy liver. And all these things kind of like just makes me happy that it's such a like genius lyric. Okay, it's a genius level of lyric. So I love Phoebe Bridgers, I love the vibes, I love the music and the instruments, and that particular lyric is stuck in my head. So I'm gonna write that down, and then I have some like I bought some things which I want to show you. Okay, so I'm done with some quotes. I think it was a fun time, at least for me. I hope you also got some recommendation, and enjoyed watching this video. But it's not over yet. I wanted to decorate my room, so I like on a whim saw this ad and ordered like these 2 posters. This sounds like an ad read, but I'm big enough and like subscribers or like views count and stuff like that to have a sponsor. So it's not a sponsor, okay? It's just like a website I found which which sells posters, and I found these 2 posters which I really wanted. So I have them right here with me, and let's open this up and see how they look. Okay, so here are the 2 posters, and let me put it aside, and yeah, let's look at them. I'm really excited how they look. I do think that this is a little smaller than I imagined, but let me show you. So this is the first one. I haven't seen it, you can see it first. So this is, wow, this looks so good. Okay, they advertised it here, so if you wanna like buy it. I think they only sell it in India. This looks so good. It's an Elden Ring poster. And the second one is this is so cool. Okay, so this was the first one, and the second one is ta-da! It's did you know there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey? This is the album cover, and it's upside down. But yeah, this looks so good too, and I'm so happy. Let me just quickly stick it up and like I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so I have put up the posters. Let me show you, and they look really good. So here's the first one. It's the Elden Ring poster. It's right below my PC, so you know, the place where I played Elden Ring. So I think that's very fitting. Then I have got my old poster, that is my favorite movie. So we got my favorite game, my favorite movie, and then we got my favorite album. So this is it. I think it looks good, all three. I've also ordered some more few stuff which I will maybe show in another video to also decorate my room. I think that will also go very well with this aesthetic, and it's not really an aesthetic. I just wanna show like what I love, like what stuff I really love and adore. So that was it. So I hope you enjoyed whatever this was, like a spend a day with me kind of, like it was a very chill video to make. I really enjoyed it. I got to talk about some of the stuff which has been on my mind and do some fun activities and show you the posters, which was really fun. And I will see you later in the next video. Bye. Hello. Hello.